Cowboys still take training camp in Oxnard, California for a couple of weeks. They're out there now, and the Cowboys close to the playoffs last year, one postseason victory since they won Super Bowl 30. They won 3 Super Bowls in a period of 4 years, not long after Jerry Jones bought the team. Under Tony Romo as the starting quarterback since 2006, he replaced Drew Bledsoe midway through the season. They have won one postseason game, and the hope is this year they're going to win more. And joining us now to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, the man who has owned the Dallas Cowboys since 1989, Jerry Jones. Jerry, welcome to Dan Patrick Show.
Hey, Mike. Great to be on with you this morning.
And great to have you. And training camp out in Oxnard, not all that far from Los Angeles. When does the NFL get back to L.A.?
Well, I think we really have made some very tangible progress. We've got people, potential teams that understand where we are today, what's going to be required, going to be a big financial commitment there. That's as it should be. It's one of the great markets of the world, really, and certainly will be a great market for the NFL. And so it's going to require significant investment by whichever team comes to Los Angeles area. But it's, I sense, a lot closer than at any time since we haven't had a team in the L.A. area.
A lot of talk about London with the Olympics, or in L.A., a lot of talk about the Olympics in London, a lot of talk about football in London. Bob Kraft, owner of the Patriots, recently said that the time has come for the NFL to send a team to London. What's your position on that?
Well, I think that's why we're playing the games that we're playing over there. Those are league games. They're not preseason games, and we're trying to get a sense of where the fan base would be. Now, it'll be completely different if and when we should put a London team, because it's my city against your city, my town against your town. You don't have that now. This still has some exhibition about it, but it's the real deal. It really counts. This will give us a good read. We're going to do this for several years and then make our decision then.
Talking to Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, created a little bit of a stir recently with some comments about the New York Giants, the defending Super Bowl champions. Why are you confident about the Cowboys' chances against the Giants heading into 2012?
Well, I don't know. Confidence may not be the word because they beat us twice last year, but the main thing is that the opening ball game, and it's a prominent game because it opens the season. It's now in front of the nation. And so everybody should, on our team, I want everyone with their mind on the Giants because that's who we open up with. That's our first real deal, and that's why they're getting my attention. Opening game.
How often do you think back to December 11 when you had the Giants against the ropes, and if Miles Austin and Tony Romo connect on that long pass play and deliver the knockout punch to the Giants and they don't make it to the postseason, that maybe the Dallas Cowboys would have been the ones holding up the Super Bowl trophy at the end of the road?
Mike, the second most disappointing year I've had, I'm going on 24 years in the NFL Cowboys, and the second most disappointing year I've had was last year. Cal Romo had the year that he had. You're supposed to be knocking on the door when you get a quarterback that plays like that. I thought we could do better than that, and that play, that game, probably epitomizes that last year as much as any single play. And so that's what keeps you going. Those are the times that you want to always remember because it makes the good ones feel good.
You said that's the second worst moment since you've owned the team. What was the second worst year? What's the worst year that you've had as the owner?
I think the worst I've ever felt was coming out of Candlestick Stadium, and we had won 2 Super Bowls. We had a great team. We fought. We're down 21 points almost within the first 5 minutes, fought back against a very fine San Francisco team, but we had a great team. We won that game. We play San Diego in the Super Bowl. We'd probably get 3 Super Bowls in a row.
And maybe 4 because then you...
I've cried twice. I cried there, and I cried when we went down to Houston, when the Houston Texans opened up, and we went down to Houston right there in our own state and let them beat us opening night. That was the second time I cried.
Does it get harder?
Yeah, last year was disappointing.
Does it get harder for you the longer you've owned the team, or do you get used to the disappointment?
No. as a matter of fact, the expectations have increased, and it is harder. And I never thought when I got involved that every time you fumbled, you think the franchise is starting downhill. And so, yeah, it's different, but it's always been intense. And but I would have never dreamed in 24 years that I could have had the experiences that I've had and been a part of this ride in the NFL. It's a blessing. I'll tell you, I'm one of the luckiest people on earth.
You say that the expectations increase over time. What are the specific expectations you have for the Dallas Cowboys this season?
Well, we, up until last year, 10 different teams had represented the NFC in the Super Bowl. Now, the Giants came back and did it, and my hat's off to them. But we need to get there. We've been a long time. I would have never dreamed that we would be this long getting back to being at the Super Bowl. We've had our chances. They're not as apparent as they might be because we weren't sitting there in a Super Bowl playing to win. But we've had a chance. We had a great chance when Bill Parcells coached here. We had a real good chance when Wade Phillips, when we won 13 games and had beaten the Giants twice. We let them off the ropes at our stadium, and they went on to win it. So that's the game. And we've got to, while we have Romo, while he's playing at this level, we've got to knock on the door. And so there is an urgency.
Wrapping up with Jerry Jones, Cowboys owner. Tony Romo throws the football to receivers. There's been some issues at the position. LaRon Robinson leaves via free agency. Des Bryant has an off-field problem. Is there any set of circumstances where you would consider bringing back Terrell Owens?
Well, Terrell, I think, still has NFL football in him, and when he's out there, he gives defenses problems. We really would like to bring and give every opportunity to our young receivers to come up in that third slot. We like our first two, Miles Austin, Des Bryant, and so we're going to be working really patiently to try to bring these young receivers along. It's doubtful. Last year we brought in Robinson right at almost opening kickoff, and then we waived him, and then we brought him back. But he had an outstanding year. He's a good player. But our offense last year, because of Miles Austin's injury, because of Dez not being out there quite a bit injury-wise, we had a lot of things directed toward Robinson. So if we do that to one of these other young receivers, he'll get some catches too.
How worried are you about Des Bryant off the field?
Well, I'm concerned about the issue that we're dealing with right now, and but I do support his mother. I support his family, but it's very serious, and so I think that I don't want to make excuses. He's come a long way, but a lot of people have to come a long way. You weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, neither was I, and so we've got to keep that in mind. He's got to grow up.
Reports were that you were too upset to talk to him. Then you did talk to him. How did he come across when you had a chance to meet with Des Bryant?
Bryant, Des is always is contrite, and he is sincere. And anybody you talk to that knows him will tell you that he's good person. But there's places full of good people that you don't want to be. So that alone is not enough. And he's just got to come on and step up and accept responsibility, and I think he can get there. It's unique. His background is very unique, and his background with his family is very unique, and really quite a story. And so, but he's got to work through that, and I hope that he will.
I know you like it when
I'm demanding that he work through it. I mean, he must do it, or we can't count on him.
And what happens if you can't count on him? Do you move on?
Well, we move on.
I know that every owner of every team likes to have publicity for their teams, likes to see their teams covered by the media. Every time I turn on ESPN, I see the Jets being talked about because of Tim Tebow. Did you consider acquiring Tim Tebow when he was available back in March?
Well, Tim, I think, brings a dimension to the team and is on the field. And I think you've always got to look at that. And I was probably like other teams. He has it. And, again, we're pretty strong at quarterback. We ended up with Kyle Orton. We're proud of that. We think he's one of the top backup situations in the NFL and probably a starter. So I'm proud that we ended up where we were. It's ironic that he was there at Denver, Orton, as well as Tebow. So bottom line is I think Tebow is a credit to the NFL, and I wouldn't speculate on where we were relative to going after him.
So you did make an offer? You didn't make an offer, or no comment?
I'm not giving you a straight answer. I'm not. I'm talking out of both sides.
Well, how does Tony Romo? Because if Tony,
I respect him as a player, and respect him, and I'm proud of what he's doing for the National Football League. I really think he's doing a lot, but we're in pretty good shape at quarterback.
We see what Mark Sanchez, the starting quarterback of the Jets, is now dealing with Tim Tebow as his backup. Tony Romo would have been getting that treatment if you had Tim Tebow. How does Tony Romo generally deal with all the criticism, all the scrutiny? He's got great numbers, but in the clutch, as the critics say, he can't get it done. How does Tony deal with that?
Well, I think you've got you can't get it done at that position until you've done it. It's called winning a Super Bowl. Until that time comes, you're going to have the really common things said. Can't get it in the clutch. We had a great quarterback here. When he came out of college, he couldn't win the big games. His name was Troy Aikman. So the bottom line is Tony's got to get it done. I think he's clutch. I think he's good in the clutch. I think his forte is understanding where he is in the game. Like I say, we had a lot of problems last year. Tony Romo wasn't one of them. He had some times when he made some plays he'd like to have back, but overall, I'll take him. We've just got to get it done while he's playing at this level. Well,
good luck to you this year, Jerry. Thanks for taking some time to join us, and we'll talk to you again down the road.
Great to be on. See you, Mike.
Thank you, Jerry. Jerry Jones, Cowboys owner.